All right. So we are recording. Welcome to the staff meeting, guys. Good to see you, Allie. Good to see all of you guys. So I sent out a few emails to you guys today, throughout today. I had a staff meeting with Evan Keller. The reason why you guys got to always make sure you stay on point is because Evan sometimes pops on. So it was just me and Andrew and Brent, and then Evan just popped on. And he was like, "Where's everybody else?" He's like, "Oh, they're late." So, but he just wanted to kind of see who was here, say what's up to you guys. So just make sure you guys are on point. Let's start getting onto these meetings slightly early, so that way we can get out slightly earlier. And also where we don't have to like text everybody to make sure you're on. But the first thing I sent out to everybody today was the division schedule. So this is kind of like the schedule that Evan sends out to all of us. I took out all the things that mainly pertain to me, but just kept the stuff that you guys need to be aware of. You guys will also notice on the schedule I highlighted all the TLA events. So these are all the TLAs that you guys will be there. Now, Brent, I also want you to pay attention, like Brent and I think that's just Brent and then like maybe like Ivan. You'll see that there's on the schedule, it says NLG TLA session. That stands for next level group, right? So these are for people that have gone through a full cycle of TLA, maybe once or twice. That's going to be some extra content with you and Evan right there for that. The other thing I wanted you guys to also be aware of is like times that I will not be available. So SLC stands for Strategic Leadership Conference, and that's where all the district managers in the entire company, we all get together for a big meeting. So I will be unavailable during those times, 10 to 3 on those days. So that's just so you guys have that kind of stuff in your schedule. But like on those days where I'm going to be completely gone, that's where I would need for some of you guys to step up and kind of lead the office at a higher level, maybe do some of the things that I would normally do on that day. Okay. Cool. So let me pull up the slides. All right. So I want this meeting to be on time, crisp, short. I don't want to get too into too much right now. Like we have a lot of stuff that we're going to be like implementing every single staff meeting, but I just want to make sure we're all on point and we all know exactly what's going to be expected. All right. So today I kind of was able to get a chance to put some of the final touches on what I want for everybody to do and what is expected of all of you guys and what we can do to grow the office and succeed at a high level, beat what we did in the spring, right? That's like our big goal is like, all right, how do we really ball in the fall? We had a fantastic spring. We did about $130,000 of new business. So the goal right now is to build that for the fall. All right, so these are our fall goals. All right, I'm gonna review these every single week until like you guys have them memorized, right? Like if Evan hopped on here, I was like, hey Kyle, what's the goal? How many of you guys trying to recruit for the fall, right? Or they're like, Ivan, right? What's the CPO goal for East Riverside in the fall? And you're just like, oh yeah, it's 150. Kyle's just like, oh yeah, we want to recruit 100 representatives, and so on and so forth, right? So those are the fall goals: 100 recruits, 50 PRs, $150,000 in new business, 500 PRs set for interviews. All right, now this number is very important. I actually don't care about this number as much as I do this number, right? If we set 500 PRs, we will launch 50 PRs, right? It's just kind of like the recommendations games or like making phone calls with you guys in a demo, right? We have like the 10-to-1 ratio. Typically for every 10 calls you make, you'll schedule 1 demo, right? Or if you do 7 demos, you'll probably sell on 3 of them, or so on 3 to 4 of them. So like just the same type of numbers. All right, and then this is another big one where you guys can have a big impact on this. 5 representatives over 10K for the fall. Right now, like I was talking about last week, many of you guys still count as new business towards the office as a result. So you guys can definitely impact that just right here in this group. And then we want to create more of you guys, right? I'm looking for more AMIs. So assistant managers in training, assistant manager interns, right? We want to try to duplicate our best representatives. And you guys are our best representatives. That's why you guys are here, right? So I want more Micahs. I want more all of you guys, right? Like I want more assistant managers, right? But like for example, when some of you guys go and run your branch offices, right? Like we want to replace you guys with people that are just like you, ideally better, right? Like the way that you know that you're a great coach is when you create people that are better than you, right? When you create people that have accomplished more than you. That's how you know you're coaching the right way. And that's my goal for all of you guys. That's why I teach you guys based off of things that I've learned either from working with other representatives or from my failures in the past, right? I don't want you guys to go down the same struggle, right? Like that's not fun, right? Like if I can help you guys get to step A to Z way 10 times quicker, that would be ideal. All right, and then 5 to 10 SMRAs launched. All right, that is going to be the big thing. I am focusing a lot on right now. So I'll talk about some stuff right there. All right, now I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about 2021. All right, so 2021, we want to recruit 500 representatives next year. All right, so we're gonna we're gonna basically double what we do this year, right? Or very close to doubling that. 250 PRs, and then we want to take it to $750,000 in new business. 2,500 PRs set for interviews for the year. 10 summer staff. Some of you guys might be on summer staff next year. Some of you guys might be running an office. And then 20 new TLA candidates for 2022, and then 3 to 6 offices going out. So I would ideally, like on the low end is like 3 of you guys go run an office next summer. But on the high end is like we have like all of you guys go run an office next summer. But I know that's not going to be the case. But I want to have as many of you guys go out there and take your big leap and take some accelerated growth and hyper grow yourselves at a higher level. All right, now this is kind of like the vision that I have, right? Like I spent a lot of time thinking about where we're gonna go, right? I'm trying to think like 5 years from now, what is our district area gonna look like, right? So EDM stands for Executive District Manager. So that's like my new title now is like the Executive District Manager. And once you earn that title, once you are a district manager and you produce over $3 million worth of new business sales. So I guess I got that title earlier this summer. I forgot about that. But right now we need a social media recruiting manager. We're gonna have a recruiting manager. We're gonna have a PR manager, virtual assistant, and then these are all the branch managers that are gonna come out. And then within our team, so these are like all of our branches and districts, like kind of like mixture right there. But then within our team, I want us to have team captains, right? And then there's going to be like pod leaders inside that. So I'll be talking a lot about that as we like keep taking out like some of those steps. But I am like starting to kind of figure out who's going to be in what role right here. So we'll talk about that a little bit more. All right, but here's where we're at right now for the fall. All right, we did not get off to a sexy start, but it's okay. All right, so I already know we're gonna turn it up in these coming weeks. So last week's training class, we had 4 representatives start with us. One was a PR. I believe one was social media, or I think the social media was a PR. We only did $2,000 in new business, so we definitely need to step that up, right? And I think that starts right here in this group. There was definitely not enough of you guys on the board for the week. And then right now for the year, we're at 595,000 CPO for the year. All right. Now the goal again, now this is the fun part. Now we get to start counting down the weeks. So every staff meeting, here's what I'm like always trying to think about. Like, all right, how big of a chunk can we take out of this 100? All right, because now we have 96 more to go. Right, 96 more recruits to go. Right, we have 49 more PRs to go. Right, and then we have a lot of sales to go. All right, but I want us to start taking out like some of these big chunks. But the goal that I want us to get to right now is where we're doing $20,000 in new business every week. All right, and here's the cool part is like I know that we're all capable of this because we did that in the spring, right? So now here's what needs to happen. I want you guys to write this down. We need to make a culture shift. All right, we need to make a culture shift. And we talked about this, right? Like getting more involvement on the WhatsApp, right? Now I got to take a little bit of responsibility here. Is I haven't been telling people to like post their sales like I would normally to get that rolling, right? But some of you guys like aren't posting your sales just like you guys, right? So I know Allie does a pretty good job at this, but like when you guys sell something, like post that in the group chat, but then it like half of the flame should be from this group right here, right? Because then everybody else sees it, they're like, oh, group. Because you think about it, you get those alerts. You got to remember, most of our people on our team, that WhatsApp chat is probably muted, right? But you're still gonna like see the alerts, right? Like that little red circle will keep like going and going. They're like, oh, what's going on right there in the WhatsApp? And it draws attention, right? And then they see all the flames and they're like, oh, sweet, like Andrew just sold something. This person sold something, right? And then it makes them just like subconsciously want to contribute to the group chat, even if they just contribute with a quick flame. Sweet. Right. So we got to get that culture shift going. And then also at our team meetings, right, we need to work on our attendance, right? Because when we have great attendance at the team meeting, it's no secret we have great sales weeks, right? And I know some of you guys can't be at the events because of school, right? And that's totally fine. But then if you can't make it to the team meeting, we do have to have some type of team, like, I guess what I want to say, I guess kind of like accountability or like some type of like what's the word I'm looking for? I guess spark for the week, right? Have you guys ever heard me use the analogy where it's like as a representative, right? All of our reps, they're a bunch of coals, right? And the barbecue, the impossible barbecue that me and Brent took forever to start. Right? So everyone's a bunch of coals, and it takes some time to like light them up. But then once they get lit, they stay lit for a very long time, right? But as soon as you take that coal out of the heat, guess what happens? It cools down, right? So that's why it's so important to make sure we get people to team events, because sometimes like, and I know like most people probably don't make phone calls until the team meeting, and that's totally okay. Right? But that's why like it's important to get them to the event, because if they don't make it to the event, guess what they're not doing? They're not making calls. And if they're not making calls, they're not scheduling demos. And then if they're not scheduling demos, they're not making money. Right? And that's why people work here. That's why people took the job, because they are expecting to make income. Right? That's why you guys took the job, because you're expecting to make income. So that's why it's so important to make sure we're driving attendance to the events. Now, it can't just be me saying it, right? That's the other part of this, right? I need your guys' help. You guys are kind of like the ninjas of the office, right? Because when they talk to Teresa, Teresa's one of them, right? And they're like, oh, like Teresa's like I'm cool with Teresa, right? Like, okay, and like if Teresa's like, oh yeah, come to the team meeting, right? We're gonna be working on this, this, and this, right? Let's get you on the phone. They're gonna be like, yeah, all right, yeah, I'll do what Teresa does. She's the queen, right? And then, but when I say it, I'm like this authority figure, so people automatically want to combat that, right? They're like, oh, John's just trying to get me there so you can just say stuff to me, right? And yeah, so that's why I need assistant managers, because we all got to work together to get people to the events. We're all on the same mission, right? And yes, I'm trying to get people there. Like it's funny. Like I was just on a call with somebody. They're like, John, I feel like you're just trying to get me to make more phone calls. And I was like, yes, you should make more phone calls, right? They're like, but like I don't like phone calls. I was like, but do you like money? They're like, yeah. I'm like, right there's a secret. You just gotta make more phone calls to make more money, right? So we just gotta always have these conversations. All right, that was a little bit of a tangent, but all right, let's come back to your guys' expectations that I have for you guys. All right. So we want to make sure we're trying to stay away from those goose egg weeks. All right. So since it was Labor Day, like we had an extra week, extra day to sell Cutco. But make sure we're consistently selling for your own personal bank accounts. Now, all right, as I guess I kind of want to also like make this known is like, all right, the assistant manager role now is starting to become more of a competitive position, right? We have more assistant managers. We have people that want to become assistant managers. So you got to make sure you're staying on top of your ish, right? Kobe, do you got to squeak that ball right now, bro? So we got to make sure we stay on top of your stuff, right? Because if I notice that you're dipping, right, or you're slacking, or you're not making money, I'm gonna have to. I don't want to be put in this position where I'm gonna be like, hey, Brent, I don't. I'm gonna have you not run anything in the office, right? Because I want you to focus on getting your sales up, right? And if assistant manager is like too much of a responsibility right now, it's okay. I'll pick up your work, and you can just go back to like focusing on your sales until you can get consistent selling. Then we can talk about becoming an assistant manager again. I don't want to have that conversation with anybody, because obviously like I like you guys. I care about all of you guys. But more important than like you being an assistant manager, I care about like your guys' bank accounts, right? I want to make sure everyone's making money and is not getting overwhelmed or distracted or anything like that, right? Like I've told you guys before, like running the office is a privilege, right? Like you're not entitled to go run a branch office. Like this is something you still have to earn, right? You're not entitled to just run interviews, right? Because like I'd rather run the interviews because I know I'm gonna crush it versus somebody run a half-ass interview, right? You guys get what I'm saying? Because this is you got to remember we're business partners, right? Like we're not. It's not just my office. This is all of your guys's. Um, you guys are all at stake at this, especially because you guys are gonna start earning percentages and things like that. So just want to make sure we're getting our jobs done and making sure you're doing good, right? And we got one-on-one conversations if you feel like you're struggling with something, all right? Like don't hide it, all right? Don't try to say like, oh, John, I'm good, I'm good, and then next thing you know, 4 weeks later, you're still not good, all right? I'd rather you bring that up to me sooner than later, all right? Because if you bring it up sooner, we can address it, we can try to fix it. I can try to support you and help you out the best way I can, and then we can go from there. Okay. So want to make sure we're all on the same page right there. Help with team building, PR, social media. 10 set per week is going to be the goal, and I'm going to be talking about our PR calling days. I'm going to kind of switch up a little bit what everyone's assistant manager's responsibility is. Okay, so I'm going to switch up a little things, and then role model. You guys kind of already got that. All right. Now accountabilities. All right. So when we start sending out messages, I'll have you guys send screenshots of like DMs, but we're gonna have little recap messages. So did you everybody see like the little font I posted in the group chat of like the big five and your focus two? Okay, perfect. So starting after this, I'm gonna want you guys to start sending me that, so that way it can help you kind of just stay more organized for your day. Ivan was the only one that sent me his today, so I appreciate that, Ivan. But big five, just make sure you're focusing on something in your personal life, right? What are you working on in your personal life, in your professional life, and your financials? So just kind of like you always want to recap that. And then running one workshop a week. So I'll talk a little bit more about like the workshop opportunities and things like that today too. All right, but what do we need right now? All right, so that's what I was thinking of over the week. What do we need right now? So here's where I'm going to need everyone's help and attention real quick. So as you know, with things being a little different this year, we have to adapt and we have to be different how we approach things. So normally during this time, we would go around on campus and put up posters. Like I know Ivan, like he used to help me like put up posters at UCR, and we would go flyer and like hand people flyers and tell them about the job and stuff like that. And thinking about it, I'm like yes, I know there's people on campus, right? We could do that, but I don't know if I'm comfortable doing that. And then also, I don't just know like how many people are actually going to be comfortable grabbing a flyer from a stranger, right? So we have to adjust. We got to figure out new ways to contact representatives and get the word out about the position, and kind of have to do like electronic flyering. Now, something that we did last year that worked out really well was using Blackboard and Canvas, right? So Andrew, see why he has this big smile on his face? Is because he's going to Mexico, and it's because of this. So we're gonna be using Blackboard and Canvas to get the word out about the job. All right. Now we're only gonna use this twice per quarter. All right, because we don't want to abuse that power that we have to reach out to every single like student. So we don't want to abuse that, of course. And then we also don't want to like drain like spam people, right? Like that's not our intention at all. So the way that we're going to do this, we're only going to use this at the beginning of a quarter or a semester, and then we're only going to use this at the end of a quarter of a semester, like right before like a break or something like that. Because the times that people are usually thinking about work or money are around those times, right? When school's starting, there's a lot of expenses that they have to pay for. They're like, holy crap, I just got my FAFSA, my financial aid, and they're all happy, and then all of a sudden they are like books, classes, boom, boom, and it just dwindles so quick. So they like go from like having the most money they've had in their account to broke real fast. So then people panic and they start looking for jobs. That's usually how the beginning of the semester starts. End of a semester or a quarter, usually a break is happening. What do you want to do with your friends after going to school every single day? You want to go celebrate. You want to party. You want to turn up. You want to get out, right? So usually you're like, crap, I need to start making some money before winter break because we want to go on a cabin trip. We want to go snowboarding. We want to go do that. So we gotta and we want to help representatives be able to do all those things. So those are going to be the two times that we're going to use Blackboard and Canvas. All right. So here's what I'm going to need from all of you guys. All right. I'm going to need you guys to send me your Blackboard and Canvas, except for Allie, because you're in Utah, right? So sorry, it won't work as well right there from Utah because I wouldn't be able to work with those representatives. But we'll figure something out. Like if you have friends in El Centro, we'll figure out something where you can get like those friends into like the opportunity, because El Centro is still part of our division and territory, so that'll count for you. Now, here's my goal out of using Blackboard and Canvas. You remember what I said, or what we came up with at the beginning? What do we want our AM staff to be about? And one of them was everybody going to Mexico. All right, that is my number one goal for the fall. I want all of you guys in Mexico with me in February. I think that would be so sick. All right. So when you guys, or if you guys can do that right now, I just need username and password. All right. I'm not going to go through all of your other stuff, and we'll go through it together. I'm going to show you exactly what we're going to do with it. And you guys aren't going to message them. All right. I'm going to hire somebody else to send out those messages, so that way you don't even need to think about it. All right. And I think it is definitely worth our time. Now, for example, we use Andrew's Blackboard. What was it, Blackboard? So we use Andrew's Blackboard in spring, right when like this coronavirus hit, because we knew a lot of people were going to be out of school. And I believe we sent out what, like 300 messages, Andrew?
I personally myself sent out probably like 250, 300.
Okay, so probably like upwards of like 500, 600 messages, right? We probably interviewed about like 30 of those people between two offices. And then I know for sure he had 11 friends like start the job, hit their first promotion, right? So if you just took that right there, that was, if we just stopped it at 11,000, right? That's like 11,000 new CPO that was created. But it was definitely a lot more than that. I think it was like 30 or 40,000 probably
It
created.
was like 30,000.
Yeah, because I just know there was one training class where I had four of them, and like it was like Emma, I don't know, it was a lot of them, but
It was Ashley, and then yeah.
yeah, so like I think that group of people just sold like 15,000 just right there, and that was just from Andrews, right? And that was a big part of how we got started for the spring momentum, right? So that's why that's so important. Okay, so here's what's important right now. Here's how we're gonna win. So we need Canvas and Blackboard, right? Depending on like what your school uses and all that great stuff. Um, we need PR calling, ramp up and skill up, right? So what that means by skilling up is just getting better on the phone, right? Being able to connect with people and get them scheduled up for an interview. Social media recruiting assistant sourcing. All right, I'm gonna have a little thing that you guys can take a screenshot of that you guys can post. I'll have like a little bonus for you guys if you guys can also help me find a social media RA. There's going to be a $50 bonus for any of you guys that finds one and I interview them, I like them, and they start and
I found one.
we get rolling. All right, so perfect. Send me the details. All right, staff demos and then newsletter reps. All right, we need to get more representatives on the newsletter. All right, we need to get more reps on the newsletter and then staff field training. All right, so this is how we win. Please take a picture or write this down. These are going to be our focuses right now. All right, and staff field training, even if you just go on an appointment with somebody, that counts as field training. Even if you take somebody field training, like anytime you guys are just doing a demo, post in the team group chat, like, hey, I got 2 demos today at this time and that time. Who wants to hop on? Boom. All right. There's always somebody asking me like, hey, how can I go field training? Who can I go field training with? All right. But tomorrow at the team meeting, I'm gonna have a little part where I'm gonna like try to match people up field training. Okay. Jacob Hall's gonna help me out with that. All right, so Ivan, get a picture of this. This is what's important right now, what we're going to be focused on right now at the moment. Cheese. Questions so far? Are we solid? Are you guys ready to build something great? Rome wasn't built in a day. All right, and we're going to smash Rome and build Dubai. I don't know. That was the first thing that came to my mind. All right. So you guys get PR credit. So here's the cool part about Canvas and Blackboard. You guys are going to get that PR credit. Even if you don't know these people or whatever, I'm going to be like, oh, how'd you hear about it? Oh, somebody messaged you from Blackboard at UCR. Perfect. Ivan's going to get that credit, right? Like, oh, how'd you hear about it? Oh, somebody messaged you on Blackboard at La Sierra. Perfect. Kyle will get that credit, right? And it's perfect because we have somebody at like almost every different school besides like Teresa and Jacob Hall. They go to the same school, but I think it'll be pretty easy to tell theirs apart because Jacob's in the business department, Teresa's in the nursing field. So, and yeah, we'll cross that bridge whenever.
I have a question really quick for Teresa and Jacob. Do
Yeah.
you guys have this? I don't know. I don't think Jacob's here, but Teresa, do you know if you and Jacob have the same chapel or different?
Chapel's all online, so everyone has the same because it's all virtual.
Okay, that's even better.
Watching a bit.
It is better.
Awesome. There you go.
Mexico. Just think about that, Ali. Just leaving Utah for a weekend to just like everyone's like, where are you going? And you're like, just look at my Snapchat, and then you're just on jet skis, sipping margaritas. It's gonna be great. All right. Okay. So I want to talk about PR calling. So with our PR calling. Okay, well actually let me pause for a second. So new AM responsibilities. I'm not gonna have everybody run interviews. All right, so I'm gonna have 3 lead recruiters. So I'm gonna have like some lead recruiters. I don't know how many yet. Right. So some of you guys will run interviews, and that is like your number one job is to run interviews. And here's how I'm picking that. Either A, you just have like a killer show. You've always been crushing it with your show to training. B, you have lots of experience running interviews. C, I just like you. No, I'm just kidding. I just trust you running interviews. Now I'm not saying that like you're not gonna run an interview, right? You'll just probably run less, right? So like somebody new like Ali, right? I'm not gonna throw you into an interview right now, right? And then also your schedule just is gonna be a little challenging to allow that, right? So you'll be off of interviews at the moment. So that's something that you don't need to necessarily worry about right now, right? But probably in like later on in the winter or the spring, we'll start throwing on some interviews your way. You might run like one here and there just to kind of get your feet wet. But yeah. So I just want to let everybody know, like, not everyone's gonna run interviews. All right. But here's something that like Ali, you would be doing is calling PRs. All right. So PRs, I think everybody knows how important this is, except for maybe the newer people like Ali and Jacob. But I know, Ivan, you know how important this is, right? Brent, you should know how important this is, or you're fired. And then everyone else should know this is the most important thing, and this is the only thing that holds our office back from probably being one of the greatest offices the company has ever seen. Like, I'm not over exaggerating, right? When you look at the reports, we have everything else. It's just we just suck at PRs. All right. And I've been talking to all the managers that kick our ass at PRs, and we're gonna copy their system and then adjust it to fit us. And eventually we'll have our own like little system of calling PRs and everything like that. But that's what you do. When you're weak at something, you have to admit it, you have to acknowledge it, and you have to figure out how to get better. And the best way to do that is reaching out to the best. Right? Don't hold your ego up. This is just like a little life lesson in the middle of this. Like if you guys suck at something, only person that really knows how bad you are at something is going to be you. Right? So you got to be honest with it, own up to it, and then figure out how to get better. Learn from the best, and then perfect what the best do, and then crush them. Right? That is like the cycle of becoming great. So that's what we're going to be doing right now. So here's how your AM duties are going to look like right now. All right. I want to keep it very simple for the meantime until we master these things. And then I'll start adding on more responsibilities like managing a group of reps. So everyone's going to lose their teams. Okay. So that is what I'm going to be focusing on, as well as PRs and social media assistants. You guys don't need to worry about like your reps necessarily like every single day. There might be some days where I may be like, hey, Kyle, do you think you can reach out to these guys on a Thursday, right, and then help them out, right? It's going to be more like that versus like, hey, Kyle, this is your team. You're responsible for them. Andrew, Ivan, Brant, Teresa, right? It's going to be a little bit different. So all you're going to have your office days, but then you're also going to have some PR calling sessions, all right? So before I get to those PR calling sessions, all right, take a screenshot of this or a picture, or actually better yet, I can send this to you guys. Just give me 1 second. So this is what we're looking for in an SMRA right now. And just in case you forgot what SMRA stands for, Social Media Recruiting Assistant. Social Media Recruiting Assistant. And all right. Did you guys hear that camera? Interesting. All right, just 1 second. Okay. So we're looking for somebody. The ideal SMRA is someone that has 1,000 to 2,000 followers. All right, we don't want somebody with a ridiculous amount of followers, where it's like 10, 20,000, right? Because chances are they probably don't know all those people, right? So we want somebody that's like pretty social in their local network. And there's a couple ways that you guys can tell how social somebody is their pictures. If they have a lot of pictures with people, with friends, not just a bunch of pictures of them by themselves in bikinis, right? They're probably more of a social person, right? So we're looking for those types of people local to the Riverside area, Allie for you, local to the El Centro area. The beauty of this is with everything being virtual, like it could be a little bit further than Riverside, right? Same thing with you, Ivan, like El Centro area is okay because that is now part of our territory, okay? So so that is all okay. Somebody that's classy and fun, right? So what I mean by classy is they're not posting like things of them just getting wasted every weekend, right? Like they kind of like they can hold themselves to a high standard on IG or whatever the case may be, right? And we're trying to get 5 at a minimum, 8 at the maximum by September 24th. Let me edit that. Oops. So September 24th is when we're going to be running our SMRA training. Okay. Now, right here, this is the script that you'll send to anybody that you guys come across that meets that criteria. All right. Now, I don't want your main focus to be this. I'm just throwing it out there in case you guys know somebody that might fit that criteria. And like I said, if you guys can find me one that's a great fit, I'm going to give you guys a $50 little recruiting bonus for that. And I appreciate it. All right. But even if you just post it on your story a couple times, that would be great. It's $13 an hour, plus they get some little bonuses and things like that. So we'll be doing the SMR training September 24th. Okay. And then I'll send the message in the group chat of what you guys send to your representatives. Now, I also had a breakdown right here. This is something that Evan kind of went over with us at our staff meeting today. What we want to do each week is $10,000 in new business. All right, $10,000 in new business sales. Give me 1 second. Okay. So this is what I'm looking for to build a 10K week. All right, we want to pace 10K. All right, anytime we dip below 10K, or below 8K, 7K, that's like a ultimate red flag to me. Like, all right, we need to get systems on point. We got to check everything. We got to fix everything, right? That means like the ship is sinking. If we're under 7,000, that is not good. All right, so 7,000 is like our bare minimum that we need to do. All right. Now, 10,000 is our goal. 20,000 is on pace to breaking records. Okay. Now, typically how this falls out for having 4 to 5 reps on the newsletter, usually we'll have one person that sells a lot their first weekend on the job. Like for example, Raymond sold like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 studio sets in one day. So he was at like $1,500, $1,600 for the week. But then we need 3 from the team. All right. Now the way to figure out how many reps you need on the newsletter, you use the 2.5 matrix. So basically what that means is like you just times however many reps on the newsletter times 2.5 equals whatever like the number is going to be for the week, right? So the example I use is like 4 reps on the newsletter, right? That means I need to sell $750 for the week times 2.5. That's going to usually equal a $10,000 week. All right. Now, for example, the example Evan used, right? 2 representatives on the newsletter. So he showed like Lucas and Toby, right? They were both on the newsletter. They had a 5K week. All right. It just kind of always works out that way. All right. So we want to promote the newsletter a ton, right? And then for you guys, that should be the goal. Always hit the newsletter, right? Try to hit the newsletter, but definitely don't try to be at least 500 minimum for the week. Okay. Staff jobs. We're looking for PR manager. So I'm thinking right now that's going to look like it's going to be like Micah. He's going to be like our PR manager. And basically what he's going to do is kind of help divvy up the list. So on Saturday, we'll have our first wave of callers, right? You'll get a list that you're going to call, and we're going to be making like 20 to 30 calls like per hour. And then they're also going to have all the stats for the week, right? So they're going to like be able to like, Micah's going to be able to let us know like, all right, guys, we have this many PRs scheduled so far. We need this more to go, right? So that way, like whoever's on the next wave of PR calls, they know like, all right, cool. We're on track to hitting our goal. We just need to hit our number. And then like that last day, we can make a final push to make sure we're hitting that number every single week, right? So like it's just hard for me because I have so many numbers I got to look at, right? And we got to like split that up, all right? We still need a social media manager. So if anyone's interested, let me know. But basically what you would just do is just kind of post things on our story to make it look like it's a live business, right? And then I want to do like a rep spotlight once a week, right? So it's like, so we just highlight a top representative. Doesn't necessarily need to be our number 1 rep that sold for that week. Somebody that's just been on our team for a while, somebody that we like working with, someone that's doing things that are positive. We want to be able to highlight that type of stuff. Our field training coordinator is Jacob Hall. He's been doing a great job with that. And then admin is Teresa. All right. So I guess right now we're just looking for social media. So if anybody wants to take over that role, that'd be great. All right. Couple last things, and then I'll start wrapping this up. All right. Big 5 weekly. All right. This is our Big 5 weekly as an office. 20 plus set for training. 3 to 4 daily recruited. Human set PRs 50. So this is what we're going to drastically improve on this week. Demo creation 150 demos. So we got to make sure we're using Q. And then 50 messages per staff. All right. So interview schedule still the same as last week. All right. Here's what I wanted to get down. Just give me 1 second. All right, I wasn't quite done getting this set up, but here's what I have so far. So the PR calling shifts, they need to be on certain days. So for example, we're going to start on Saturday. All right, this is all tentative right now because I just made this without talking to you guys. All right, but this is what I'm ideally looking for: Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. All right, everybody needs to get 2 sessions. All right, so 2 sessions in. So, for example, Ivan, I might not necessarily have you run interviews right now, but I might have you just do 2 PR sessions. All right. So, but part of your office responsibility is like crush your 2 PR sessions, run your interviews, and then anything else that me and you specifically talked about that you need to do, just get that done, right? And then that's it. All right. I'm not gonna be asking too much out of you guys, but I want us to just really focus on this. All right. So like, for example, Andrew's is pretty set in stone. We already talked about it, right? He's going to be doing Saturday, 10 to 12. You run that interview right after, and then you're done for Saturday, right? Same thing with Tuesday. Your office day will start at slightly before 11, right? Crush your PRs, run the interviews, and then you're done for the day. All right. Brent, yours will be 3 to 5 on Sunday. All right, and then depending on the Sunday, you'll run either the advanced training 1, or you'll run the team planning session. All right, but like Sunday, like that's going to be you, Brent, and you're going to be leading the charge right there. And then Tuesday, 11 to 2, you'll get your PR hours in with Andrew. All right, and when you guys do that, I would like it for you guys to like hop onto a Zoom, or you guys can go meet down at the office in Riverside and knock that out together. All right. So like that office is open, and I got some new decorations for the walls. It's going to be nice. And so you guys can definitely knock that out, but definitely do that together. Right. And when we do these sessions, I want it to be, there's going to be at least 2 per session. Some days there's going to be more. Like you'll notice Monday is going to be pretty stacked. We want to go big on Mondays. And the reason why we're doing this through Tuesday, this is mainly for like Ali, Ivan, Jacob Hall, like whoever's watching, like all the new people. We want to try to get as many people booked up before our training, all right? Because we run training every week, and that's on Thursdays and Fridays. So Wednesday is our last day to scoop up any last people that we can potentially add into that training seminar. By having our last PR calling day on Tuesday, because most of the time people book for the next day, right? So that's why we want to have our last like big PR blitz day on Tuesday to book up that Wednesday. Okay. So if everybody's hitting 10 per, right? So 10 from me, 10 from Andrew, 10 from Brent, 10 from Kyle, 10 from Ivan, 10 from Teresa, 10 from Jacob. Who else are we missing? 10 from Micah. It's 80 PRs scheduled each week, right? So, and our goal is just to set up 500 for the summer. We can knock that out. Probably we might need to raise our goal if we're on point. But what that means is we're gonna launch about 8 PRs per week. Even if we just did that, you guys are gonna love this fall. We're gonna really be balling in the fall. All right, but that's what it comes down to. Everyone just has to do that little part. Is that questions, comments, concerns?
Still have not told me the address for this new office.
All right. Yeah, Kyle.
So if this is just calling, or is there's some of us, of course, we do through texting. Is it that
It's
either?
gonna, we're gonna go 100% call.
Okay.
Yeah, because like now, like with the conveyor system, there's this opt out of a text. So if like someone responds stop, it automatically opts them out.
Yeah.
So we have more control over a phone call versus a text, right? Because like also text takes a while, right? Like you probably text some people and you're talking to them, and then all of a sudden they vanish, and then you're like, are you there? And then you just never hear from that person. But like on a phone call, you're talking to them, you get it all scheduled really quick, and it's just gonna be way more efficient with our time, right? Because I'm sure you probably have lost messages that you can go back weeks and weeks to like see like, oh, I needed to follow up, and it's just too hard, right? What we're gonna do is we're just gonna call everybody, call them twice, and then after that, after we call through the list, then on Tuesday night or Wednesday morning, we'll send them all to conveyor, and then we'll just let the automated system kind of do like that follow-up message. Cool.
I like that. Yeah.
So yeah, so I just want us to be really efficient. But literally, your only job, you guys, this fall, 10 PRs. I don't know how many times I can say the word PRs, but it would be a really good drinking game, right? Take a shot every time I say PRs. But but we gotta schedule a lot of them, right? And that's all I really care about, right? Like I could care less about everything else right now because we just suck so bad at PRs. All right, so I just want us to get really great at that, and then we'll start piling on more things later on. All right, but I don't want you guys focusing on too much else. Sales, personal sales. You guys got to make money, lots of it. I want you guys to make a ton of money. All right, Ivan, I want you to make a crap ton of money. I want to know who's going to make the most this fall. Who's going to sell the most? All right, so sell a lot of Cutco. We need to build a team, and we need to get everybody to Mexico. Plain and simple. One of your PR days, right? You guys could just be like messaging like your own friends, right? You're like, hey, dude, I know you've been eyeballing Cutco for a year now. Come on, bro. Come to Mexico with me. All right, like whatever it takes. All right. All right, I'm gonna end on this. Big five or your big three or your focus two. So you don't need to send both of those to me. I wanted to be clear on that. You can either have your big five things that you want to talk about on the day, or you might have like your big three things, and then you have like two things that you really need to focus on, right? So what a focus two might look like is I have a final today, right? Like I need to absolutely obliterate this final and crush it, right? That might be like one of your focus twos, right? Your big three is like, I know I need to do this, or I want to do this, or like I'm like my ideal goal is to do this. So big five daily in September, just write. I want you guys to write a list of activities that match up with your goals. So maybe Ivan's trying to gain this amount of muscle mass, right, by the end of the year, right? Or you're trying to get that six pack, right? Maybe probably one of your big five activities, if you're trying to get a six pack, is some type of ab work, right? So that should probably be one of your big fives. And then pick off the list by the end of the day. Read the list each morning. Check them off as you can complete them. Recap and repeat. If you like, people always ask me like, how do you do so much? How do you accomplish so much? And it starts with that list, you guys. Like my favorite exercise to do every single year around this time is to look back at my goals list from December of last year, from November, from January, and see how many of the things I actually get done. And usually when you write it down, it's going to get done, right? When you write it down and you review it, you recap it, you're going to get it done. All right. So that's what I want you guys to be like focused on. Like check off those things that you guys want to get done. So big three business, focus two personal, or it could just be a big five in general. All right. So probably like on your day in the office, I want to see more like the business stuff. right? And then also part of that day in your office, you should be working on your Cutco business, right? Because if you already have, like, for example, like let's say Andrew gets his 10 PRs on Saturday, but your office day is on Tuesday, right? You're like, okay, well, I don't need to do PRs today. Doesn't mean like you just waste time or sleep in. Like, all right, cool. Now I have more time to schedule demos, or I have more time to work on my names list, or I can send out emails or thank you cards or something like that. All right. And I want you guys to just get in the habit of sending me something daily before 10 a.m. All right. Most of you guys that are in school, you're up early. So send it to me. Right. So that way I can have more impact on you guys. I want us to be talking, having constant communication. All right. Like, let's talk more. Let's build more. Let's do it all. All right. And then we'll end it right there. All right. This flow chart, we'll talk about this on your office days. Okay. All right, guys. But I think we hit our time. All right. Stick on if you guys have any questions. Ali, for I guess, is there any days that you just don't work for religious reasons?
Mainly Sundays, as well as Wednesday night. I have like a church class.
Okay.
So it's mainly just Sundays and Wednesday night. But
Okay.
it's like right after the team meeting.
Yeah. All right. So Saturday, write that down in your schedule. Saturday, 10 to 12. I'm gonna have you join Andrew and I forgot who else.
11 isn't. It's 10 to 12 Saturdays. Right?
Yeah, Saturday's 10 to 12 for PR calling. All right, and then Ivan, I'm gonna have you stick on for a few minutes after. So we'll start you off right there, Ali, for that Saturday, and then I just gotta look at your schedule again, and then we'll find the second time. All right, but other than that, you guys are good to go. Stick on if you have questions or if you need to let me know of anything. Kyle.
Don't forget the recording.
What?
The recording.
Thank you, sir.